So Costco's is raising their minimum wage to not 15, but $16. I have a CNN article in front of me that has the details. So Costco will raise its starting rate for hourly store workers in the United States to $16 an hour, putting its starting wage above rivals such as Amazon, Target, and Best Buy. Costco has around 180,000 U.S. employees, and 90% of them work hourly. It will hike its minimum wage to 16 beginning next week, Chief Executive Craig Jelinek said Thursday at a U.S. Senate Budget Committee hearing chaired by Senator Bernie Sanders on worker pay at large companies. The move comes as Democrats in Congress seek to rally support for a $15 federal minimum wage. Sanders is the driving force behind Congress' current push to raise the federal minimum wage, introducing a bill last month to increase it to $15 by 2025. President Joe Biden has also backed the $15 minimum wage. The federal minimum wage has stood at $7.25 an hour since 2009, but a growing number of cities and states are raising their minimum wage. So Costco's raised their minimum wage to $14 in 2018, $15 in 2019, and now in 2021 they're going to $16. So it says that the company says that 20% of its hourly workers make the minimum wage. More retailers and restaurant chains have also moved to a $15 an hour minimum rate, such as Amazon, Target, Best Buy, and Walmart. The largest U.S. retailer still has an $11 minimum wage and said last week that it plans to raise pay for around 425,000 employees, a quarter of its workforce, to at least $13 an hour. And then, of course, you have the critics of the minimum wage, raising the minimum wage. Oh, what about the small businesses? Oh, it'll lose jobs. First of all, the loss of jobs is negligible. Australia, we have about the same. Australia has what equals to a $15 minimum wage in their own currency, and we have about the same unemployment rate. So that argument goes out of the window. And in regards to the loss of small businesses, that can easily be handled. So you subsidize the small businesses, you can give them tax breaks, you can differentiate when it comes to the orders as it pertains to the small businesses and the big corporations. We already subsidize big corporations, we already give them tax breaks. Why can't we do the same for the small businesses? Let's help them out as they pay their workers a living wage. So there's many different ways you can go about this, but people like to turn their brains off when it comes to giving people more money. I have another interesting fact for you. Costco's average wage for hourly employees is around $24 an hour. $24, that's the average rate for hourly employees. Costco employees have also received an extra $2 an hour in hazard pay during the pandemic since March. Jelinek said the company would end the hazard pay, but convert some of it to permanent pay raises for their employees. So this is extremely interesting, especially considering the development that we've gotten relatively recently regarding the federal minimum wage and the more progressive Democrats' effort to raise it. As stated in this article, the federal minimum wage has been $7.25 since 2009. And that's absolutely horrendous, especially when you compare us to other countries. And when I say other countries, I mean the more industrial countries that are comparable to ours. Their minimum wage beats us by far and away. We don't pay our people living wages. We don't. If you make minimum wage in this country, you're not making enough money to live. Now, I'll tell you this. I have never, ever stepped foot into Costco's. I've never been to Costco's, period. But I had no idea their workers were treated fairly well, it seems. I mean, they're being paid pretty good. I had no idea, honestly. But this speaks to the bigger picture here. The minimum wage is being raised everywhere across the country, across corporations, at the state level, at the county level, everywhere, locally. But for some reason, the federal level, they just can't seem to do it. They just can't seem to find the means to justify an increase in the minimum wage at the federal level. And it reminds me of the weed debate and honestly drugs in general, but let's just talk about marijuana for a second. How many states have either decriminalized or just outright legalized marijuana? There's a number of states that have done it, but it's still illegal at the federal level. But I'm telling you, it's going to get to the point where so many states have legalized to so many states are going to legalize marijuana where it gets to the point where it doesn't even matter that it's still illegal at the federal level. Okay, I mean, in Oregon, they've decriminalized all drugs. You see what I mean? And with the minimum wage, it's kind of the same thing. The minimum wage is being raised in many different places, but at the federal level, it still remains $7.25. But this is incredible development from Costco's. It is going to put pressure on other companies to raise their minimum wage now and to pay their workers more money, because I remember back when Amazon got basically Jeff Bezos got shamed into doing the $15 minimum wage by Bernie Sanders and Ro Khanna with the Stop Bezos Act. And that's how that came to fruition. And now here goes Costco's, and you can expect the other big corporations to follow suit. So this is very interesting development. Good on Costco workers. I did not know they were this well paid. I had no idea, to be honest with you. Like I said, I've never stepped foot in a Costco's before in my life, but very happy for them. And this is really great.